What if you could slide into 1,000 different worlds where it's the same year and you're the same person, but everything else is different? And what if you can't find your way home? Well, Robert Jeffries and I found the gateway. Now the problem is finding a way back home. This is Stumbling Through the Multiverse, a Sliders recap with Rhayne Coleman and Robert Jeffries II. Okay. Welcome to Jillian of the Spirits, you guys. This is
the only thing we're talking about.
That's it. Oh man. Welcome to Stumbling Through the Multiverse. This is the Sliders official review show. If anybody tells you any different, they're lying. They're Cro-Mags. Don't believe them. I am Rhayne Coleman, your co-host, the CarefreeBlackNerd. Happy to be here as usual, and I have with me none other than Quinn Mallory himself. What's up, Robert?
Robert from Earth 319 or whatever. I don't know. 404, 678, 770, all Atlanta. But yeah, Robert, happy to be here. Happy to be, doing this season 2 recap.
Woo!
Yeah, man. We made it. looks like we made it.
Y'all, this ain't an episode you're gonna find on Peacock, I gotta tell you that. Yeah, man, I want to say this.
Mm-hmm.
Robert, you are listening and everybody watching. I feel like I'm like, oh, Robert, he's so great, my co-host, whatever. But like, honestly and truly, for the amount of years that we've been podcasting together, there's never been a single time where I'm like, what the hell is this? What the fuck Robert got me into? And like every time I may be apprehensive about some episodes or something, but I always walk away from whatever recording we do feeling comfortable. And I don't know if that's even the word that I probably need to use, but it's like, there's never your mind. I don't know. I thought I had this more streamlined before we started, but I truly am grateful for you and your interest and this ride that we've been on for like several shows, like 4,400 and this, and then even the like miscellaneous ones we've done in between. I'm truly am grateful. And I want to give you your flowers right now. Like if I have not been clear enough, I am so grateful for you and your mind. I truly am. Like this has been a phenomenal ride. Just looking back on like the episodes and coming up with answers, I'm like, man, I would not have been here had it not have been for you. I probably would have watched some of Sliders, but it wouldn't have been this intentional. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Thanks. And I was gonna say I'll reciprocate because I've spoken about this before. When I was, looking for places to kind of promote, the comics and stuff, I can't even remember if it was Route 3 or The Crossing or whatever I'd reached out to you about. It was one of those ones. You were, so like Carefree Black Nerd popped up and within my search, and I was just like, this is somebody for the culture, specifically, comic books and geek culture and just, whatever, but specifically Black indie culture. And at a certain point, it was feeling rare to find, and I'm just going to be honest with you, Black outlets that would support Black indie, because sometimes there's a stigma that if you ain't Marvel or DC, that it's not worth the time, and even with other places that aren't Black run, even like I'm just talking about like podcasts and stuff. And I feel that it's kind of gotten better, but I will say that it felt like your podcast was on the cusp of that, just kind of being open to just reviewing and giving us the time of day. So when you open the doors with that whole thing of like, and I remember it's like one episode, like, hey, if you got some ideas, and then I was like 4,400. So that's another thing that like I said, I give to this podcast and to you, that I didn't hear that from a lot of other podcasts. So when you were open to that, it was cool. And like hearing you and Cole with Black Lightning Matters, like I knew the rapport, that y'all had, but also that y'all weren't afraid to kind of keep it real in a constructively critical way. So I was just like, 4400 would be perfect for that. So then from there, that I appeared on a couple episodes of Black Lightning Matters, some of the most fun that I've had, on the podcast, talk about that. And then the new 4400. So I appreciate you for being supportive of just everything when it comes to Black comic books and Black geek culture, but then also for giving me an opportunity to come on and talk about this stuff with you, because like I said, I think you said like when you leave these episodes, even as like traumatic as these episodes
Man.
we have fun. And so that's the thing, like one of the things that I don't want to ever like this to feel like homework, right? Because like I said, we out of school. We're out of school and we're not about to struggle watch nothing. So but like I said, I really have enjoyed like this ride with you, going back to the first 4400, which I don't think we ever finished up. I think we had like the third season and then the new one came on and we was like, for the culture, and we was like, oh, okay, it's something. But yeah, no, like I said, I appreciate you, man, and I appreciate being able to talk about this stuff with you. It's been fun. It's actually like the highlight of the week, like one of the highlights of the week. So yeah,
man,
it's been cool.
Whew. All right. Well, listeners, tell us how great we are in the comments. No,
hey, go back and let me say, listen to all the Carefree Black Nerd, but definitely, pair the Black Lightning Matters up with a rewatch of that, and then also the 4400. If you can find it on streaming, you probably have to buy that or the DVD or the Blu-ray. So, but I'm gonna give my 2 cents about this Kickstarter. Speaking about like Black indie comic books, so I think, as y'all know, I write comic books. I write a lot of stuff, but one of the companies that I've written for, and I mentioned them, 133 Art Publishing. They have a Kickstarter going on for a series called One Nation, and the best way to describe it is it has the social and cultural consciousness of something like the X-Men meets the over-the-top action of like My Hero Academia. And and the cool thing about it, the other cool thing about it is that it acts as a period piece, jumping off in the 1990s around the time of the Gulf War, and then also the Los Angeles uprisings with the Rodney King verdict. So the story is telling the story about a group of superpowered humans who are called Karamats, and rather than necessarily just trying to save the world, they try to change it through social and political change. So it's not just going out to beat the collective asses of whatever villain pops up. It's like they're putting in community centers. They're changing technology for those that are less privileged. They're providing opportunities to the less fortunate, the people that are kind of, suffering, but also it's espousing the values or the ideas of the talent and tenth of, W.E.B. Du Bois. So it's definitely like, if you're a milestone head, I'd say it's the closest to that, for like something that's more mainstream. But there's a Kickstarter going on for One Nation Arc 1, which is an omnibus. It has 300 pages of comic books and a bunch of different reward tiers that you can pledge to. And like I said, I have probably like 3 stories in there, 3 issues in the book, and it's having an opportunity to contribute to this universe has been fun. And it's a bunch of different talents, folks who have written for DC Comics, folks who have done stuff for Marvel, who have worked on Spider-Man, Green Lantern, and what was the other one? There's another one that I'm missing as far as like another like Marvel superhero, but you have the talent behind the scenes with that, but on the pages, it's telling a very beautiful story. So the Kickstarter just launched today, but if we'll have a link to it, you can go and check it out. But once again, it's One Nation Arc 1, and it's an omnibus, and I'm an omnibus, and it's like I've been collecting them, but it's good to have my work featured in one. But yeah. So you definitely check that out if you get a chance.
Yeah, and that will be linked in the show notes. Definitely, this cover is sick.
Yeah.
This will be a phenomenal poster framed up in
Mhm.
some nerd's living room. You nerds better get on this. So yeah, absolutely, this will be linked in the show notes. Please make sure to check it out. And if you can't contribute to the Kickstarter, that's okay. Please share, share,
Share, yeah.
share, share, share. Please share once a day, every day, until your next birthday. I don't know. So yeah, man. So yeah, link in the show notes, and we'll definitely be revisiting that. And shout out to you for 3 stories in a 300-page omnibus. That's gotta be a record of something.
Man, yeah, I that's a bucket goal list,
Yes.
bucket list goal, yeah, bucket list,
Hey,
let's
that
go,
sounds
yeah,
good to me. Oh man. Okay, so we're on episode 14 in season 2 of Sliders. In this episode, the Sliders gets ripped to shreds by the co-host of Stumbling Through the Multiverse. What are your general thoughts? Yo,
yeah. So let's do this. So like the overall vibe. I mean, we can start with the
oh no,
overall.
hey,
Okay,
whatever. I'm
okay.
good.
So because I was gonna say let's build up to that, but
Okay, okay.
yes, season 2 um recap. And so we're gonna, if y'all are familiar with the podcast and have watched the previous season recap, we basically kind of have different sections that we break down of the top so and so episodes, 3 favorite characters, and so and so, and then we'll talk a little bit about it and show our appreciation or disdain for certain episodes or certain characters. But it's all in good fun. Try to be constructively critical, and then we'll give our final thoughts towards the end of the episode. So to start off with, let's talk about the top 3 episodes, starting with our number 3. So then we'll kind of work backwards to the top one. So
Okay.
I'll hand it off to you for what's your
Okay.
number 3 for the top
Uh,
3 episodes.
so my number 3 is going to be post-traumatic slide syndrome. Um,
Yeah.
that yeah, that's my number 3,
Mhm.
and a lot of that, and I'm just forewarned that will be coming up quite a few more times in this
Yeah.
episode. A lot of what made that such a good episode for me was handling Rembrandt and him taking charge of his mental health.
Yeah. Okay.
That truly was like
Hmm.
the biggest part of the biggest thing that made sure that was in my top 3.
Hmm.
um I feel like it could have been handled a little bit better, but at the very fact that it showed up on screen and in the 90s um really did something for me, especially because of the handling of the character and how silly they make him,
Hmm.
having a to where his co-sliders, they have a bunch of shit going on, and so
Hmm.
I truly enjoyed him taking charge of his mental health, and taking a risk in doing so, because as you see what happened,
Yeah.
motherfuckers was out there to commit them, but I just think it was a healthy, nice depiction of a black man taking control of his mental health in a very traumatic situation.
Got you. Got
Yeah.
you. Um, so my number 3 is the same one.
Hey.
It's the same one. Yeah, it's like simpatico. I definitely, like you said, I like them focusing on him, that being the I don't want to call it the buffer, but basically it's the there's a term for it, but basically that's what they kept coming back to tell the
Mm-hmm.
story. And the thing though that I loved is that if you were watching this for the first time, this was the one where they got home, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it's this one where I kind of like sometimes the tragic side of
Yeah.
Sliders,
Yeah.
and this felt like that, especially when you had this big reveal of this wasn't their Earth, and we've spoken about how kind of readily they were wanting to kind of accept everything. But on the surface, that's what it seemed like, it was their home. But I think it was the thing of, by this point we had so many, in their case, like months of sliding, and then so many episodes of us watching this. You know, there's this part where there's like this collective relief where we're home. You know, we're home and we don't have to do this anymore. That I kind of appreciated.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of Quinn being the one losing his mind for the episode was, was like crazy conspiracy guy, and I like that. But the other thing that, in a kind of perverse way, the people pushing back, like Remy and Wade, and I'm not going to include the professor because that wasn't the professor, right? So Remy and Wade pushing back and saying like, no, this has to be home. It was just something that kind of stuck with me. So that, but like I said, that's my top, the third one from the list.
And also you just said something I'd like to jump in on, especially with that, having the woman and the black guy who do not usually get one, what they want, and two, the space in an episode to be the focus. Sidelining Arturo, even though we had evil professor, but having Arturo off to the side and Quinn kind of losing his mind, they were able to like thrive in their respective like lives. And that, though I don't think was a focus of the episode, it was like a happy side effect of the way it was written. So this was just kiss.
There you go. There you go. So what's your number 2?
In Dino Veritas.
Okay.
That nice. I have to still go with that one. I was looking through the episodes, and that is the one that I think we came away from, and I felt like probably every episode I've probably said, oh, they could make this into a season or something. But like that's the one that I felt like out of this season had the most what am I looking for? That 13 episodes you could redo easily and felt the most timeless. In a sense that not a lot of it was dated. The things that were dated about it were things that even contemporary camping gear, you could see a direct correlation in the way that current camping gear look versus the stuff they wore, even the Ranger gear. Like, so everything about that episode, not having a lot of people to play off of, and then the people you had being limited with the Ranger girl being a hologram, with the one poacher. And his, like, it's like the 4 of y'all against him, but it's also you against nature. And then you having those collars that perfect to me was a perfect. But you select these characters who we've grown to love, and you've stripped them to their bare bones, where you're essentially in one room. You're in one room, and you're trying to, and you it was still so compelling enough that even if you remove the CGI dinosaur and just the practical like close-up shots, I think this episode still plays effectively. And you could do this episode and set it in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 3004, and it still is going to translate well. You could take the same exact beats, even the truth collar in the other world they were on. Like, everything to me felt like what I envisioned the quintessential Sliders episode to be. Got it. That's they got it.
Definitely. So for me, number 2, this is we diverge, for the second one. For me, it's going to be Invasion. Invasion. I think because part of it is because this is kind of like a game changer for Sliders. And on a few fronts, which you will see in the third season and going on. But I felt that this is one of the first times that we had an active threat for the Sliders. Now, not saying that in previous episodes there haven't been people trying to kill them, arrest them, or whatever, or entire worlds like El Cid, where there's the threat of an environmental disaster, but there's something to be said of them finally getting an antagonist that will follow them And in addition to that, it was a dark episode where we had them imprisoned on this. So just the idea of the Cro-Mags being this race of human-like creatures or whatever, or parallel Earth folks, invading different worlds, building Earth prisons was creepy enough.
Wow.
And then but then you also have the explanation of their origins, but then they eat eyes, right? So it was a very dark, sad episode because of what happens to one of the characters at the end. And it was just kind of like a complete about face in the tone of the series. And this was the one that we agreed should have been the season finale, because it would have the whole summer, young Robert watching this would have been like, yo, what's coming up next?
Right.
Instead of what we got is like, oh, will Quinn meet his love, his long lost love again? So
for 30th time.
Yeah. And so it was, I felt it was a good episode. Like I said, for all those reasons. And it just, it was them, you say, going hard in the paint. Like, this is, I can only imagine what the meeting was like. They were like, man, and they eat eyes. And it was like, wait, Jake, what the fuck? He's like, where does that come from? He's like, it's going to work. Just work.
Bruh, yes.
But yeah, and this is the otherworldliness on Earth that I want, the type of stuff from time to time. So yeah, but for all that, that's my second favorite, or second of the top 3 episodes.
Okay, that's interesting. I say that because my number 1 is not Invasion, but kind of is. So Jillian of the Spirits is my top favorite. And I'm kind of going to try to backdoor Invasion in there, and there's a specific reason, but I'll get to that later on. To me, those episodes are 2 sides of the same coin.
Okay.
And for me, Jillian of the Spirits was where I say in Dino Veritas is quintessential sliders. I think Jillian of the Spirits is peak phenomenal sliders of what they could be. Like in Dino Veritas is like a very strong, this is what sliders is about. Jillian of the Spirits to me is the prequel to Invasion, and I fucking love it. I think we went through it. Like there's nothing in that episode that can be removed and it works the same. There's nothing in that episode that was done poorly. Some of it may be our interpretation of 2025 looking back at it, but it's art, and that's okay because it's art. It's meant to be consumed. We're not in 1995 right now. But Jillian was I may be lying, but the first pretty white woman on screen who wasn't fawning over Quinn.
Yep.
And she had an arc, and she was a fully fleshed out, realized character. Yeah. And that I cannot move past that, especially because Wade, every other episode is who knows who she is. Sometimes she's annoying, sometimes she's great. A lot of times she's just there. Yeah. And I think if they put the energy and the focus that they put on Jillian on Wade week to week, Wade, I would like her more. I don't hate her, but I think Jillian's story was compact. It was nice and to the point. It, again, she started off one way, ended up a different way. And with Quinn being somewhat of the catalyst, he worked so well being off the board that I don't think I hated him that episode. And I hate him every episode. Even with the issue with his father, I think putting him on the sideline allowed for this version of his father to shine in a way that we don't know his father. Like we saw the real father in the pilot, but every other father we've seen since then has been just a version of his dad. So we don't know who this man is. So being able to see him like fully realize, being able to see Jillian stand up to her mom, like overall, I just think Jillian of the Spirits is, if I was going to recommend a Sliders episode to someone, that would probably be my, out of season 2, if I think about it, probably even season 1, I would probably say do the pilot and then do this.
Yeah.
Jillian, because and again, my headcanon is this is the prequel to Invasion. So
got you.
yeah.
My number one is Jillian and the Spirits. So that it was about to be another one. I knew like we were at least going to get the same number ones.
Yeah.
I for all the reasons that Rhayne said, I think the other thing is one of the thing to mention is that a lot of the episodes from the first two seasons, which are the only ones we've watched collectively, it felt like sometimes it was the corporate crime of the week, or the alternate Earth. What if somebody had won World War II of the week? And there weren't ones. I don't think until, and I'd have to go back and check the first season, so I could be wrong, but it didn't feel like they started getting weird with the episodes until this season. And this one, the concept of Quinn being on the astral plane or whatever you want to call it because of a freak, accident when they were sliding was otherworldly enough that it was out there enough that it was different, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't different in a hokey way. It was different in a way that worked because they tied it into the story of Jillian or Gillian, or whatever you want to say. And the trauma that she had been dealing with her having these abilities. I also like the world where technology just stopped after the world observed this catastrophic, thing that happened. So I always say, with shit, man, if we come out of COVID, we'll be better for it. No, we're the worst, right? It's just like, so in this world, like you just see this like mass, I said the word before, trauma, like this is catastrophic. Like, and they saw that and decided to just stop because they felt that if we continue forward, we will just continue to hurt each other. I love that concept of this world. Now there were a little bit of corporate shenanigans happening, but for all the reasons that you mentioned and including, those kind of two things. And I think the performances for this episode were really well. I think everybody did well and had a chance to not be as sidelined as people sometimes are, as a character sometimes are. It like I said, coming into the season, I did not expect for this to be the number one, for me. I remember enjoying this from the second season, but not for it to be as high as it was. And looking at it like critically with you and just kind of breaking it down, it was just like, shit, this is probably the best. This is the best one, or the top one of the season. So that's, those are the top 3 episodes. So
what is that episode of 4400 that we watched about the timeline, that sped up timeline where he homeboy actually fell in love and had a kid? You know what I'm talking about, the one that we was like, oh, that's what Jillian of the Spirits is for me, so far in the 2 seasons that we've watched so far.
It is Life Interrupted.
There we go. Now I think that one to me is better than Jillian of the Spirits. But that's a whole nother show.
That's peak. Yeah, that's peak 4400.
You don't get like Jillian, you cool, girl. You ain't that cool. But what I do like even more than anything we've discussed about that episode is we often talk about how they leave worlds worse off or try to make this change. And though they left this world better off, with Jillian and whatever else, Jillian's existence suggests that there is more, I don't know, force sensitive, X gene-esque people that are around. And I love that. Like you said, if technology stops, but evolution is not going to stop just because you stop making Walkmans and stuff. So I like the idea that that story, that world could go a number of different ways once they left. So
so those are our top 3. Y'all are okay with disagreeing, but those are our top 3. So we're going to go into our 3 favorite characters. So for this one, I'll start it off with some controversy. No, it's not controversy. So for the second one, I'm choosing 2 people. And basically because Rose played, so Rembrandt in Greatfellas,
Okay.
the Rembrandt of that world,
Mm-hmm.
the FBI director, and Douche Wade from The Young and the Restless. So Clavon Derricks and Sabrina Lloyd. So basically, I've chosen both, paired up their doubles, because I feel that these were the episodes where each of the actors finally got a chance to um, have, get a chance to really act differently,
Yeah.
or just like in a different role. So obviously they're playing different, versions of themselves, but it's not just like Clavon Derricks with a wig, a bad
Right.
Wade had that bad wig, so they gave
Mm-hmm.
her the bad wig. But we already said, like, Rembrandt, the Rembrandt of the Greatfellas world, could have had his own spinoff.
Absolutely.
Um, and because we're so used to Clavon Derricks and like something, having the comedic side in this, but then also sometimes comedy relief or whatever, comedic relief. But then also the only other show I remember him from was Thea, which was another sitcom, right? So seeing him get a chance to play something serious was really good, and he did a really good job with it. And seeing seeing Wade as playing the evil Wade just worked really well, and we we laughed our asses off when she pulled that gun out and just like started shooting. So it wasn't just like she had actions, right? She didn't just come in like smarmy,
Bro.
Smarmy Quinn and say like, "Oh, I've been to other worlds, man. This is great." Or like, us for being evil on another world. She went bop, 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 and that was amazing. So for that, like I said, I cheated a little because I got two in the same place, but that's the actually, dang it, I messed up. We had three, so that was my number two.
Okay, that's fine. You want to do your
that
three?
Was my number two. I completely missed three.
No, you good. You want to do your three?
Yeah, let me just do like three. So the two, and then you can do your two. So my third one was Sid, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, because Sid was, I think, a Cro-Mag before. Cro-Mag. If Sid had a way to chase them from world to world to world, he would have done it. And I think he felt to me like the first antagonist that they came across who was a problem, who was a big ass problem.
I agree.
Because, like I said, from the scene where he looked at that portal and was like, I'm just going to chase them because it's like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
like, you got to be a psychopath to be like, they took my woman. It's time to go through and whoop my ass. And then when they get to the world, he is so like nonchalant about this shit. Now I don't know if that's bad writing or if that's just Jeffrey Dean Morgan. I think it's just Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But yeah, Sid was he was my third favorite character. So that's my second and third third favorite characters.
So much more. He deserves so much more. That man, I my head canon is he was just like, fuck it. Right. Like, the world he came from was shitty anyway. It's like, it can't be any worse.
Right. But then he kept saying, like, I want to go back. And it's just like, no, what do you have to go back to?
That one henchman, that black guy who he was like, yeah, fuck you. He was like,
stay in the car, Tubbs.
Right. I don't know. Fucking Toby. My number three, I actually was torn. It was between the Poacher and Wade, but specifically Young and the Relentless Wade. And I went with her because I feel like the Poacher was very honorable. Like, yeah, he may have been poaching, but it's also like, okay, the system of the world is so crazy. Y'all also like killed his friend. So like, I feel like he was just like, let me survive. Whereas Wade, we opened up and she had already killed Quinn. Like she was just like, I'm almost 25. I gotta get this money right. She was what I think of when I think of like mobsters, like Sopranos. What's that 50 Cent show? Power. Like I'm just like, I hated her. But even within hating her, was like, you hate her, sure, but if she was a man, you probably would hate her. But like she would just be like these men. You've seen her. Because the other thing I like is that nothing about her character was like, ooh, let me use my sex appeal. It was like, no, motherfucker, I'm young, and let me Like, I'm finna put my foot up your ass and this gun in your mouth. Also with Quinn being like, I don't know, at least 6'1", 6'2", 200
Yeah.
pounds maybe, and she still got that. Did she hit him over the?
Yeah.
She was fucking hilarious, man. And then
Yeah.
even that like almost borderline racism, but it was actually ageism against Arturo and Rembrandt. I was like, what the fuck is this character? So to your point, I think she was just fun.
Yeah.
Even more so than what's the other episode with Wade and that weird vampire immortal dude who like followed her from dream to dream. Like that was cool. She got to play around, but this was just like over the top. Did you find that gun? I'm like, bro, just kill them all. You kill them. So
she was like, y'all not gonna get over on me.
And I was like, finally, somebody think of her reactions to them at the end, especially,
yes,
shows me that if she was the one sliding, she would be like the way these four slide like idiots. Like, oh, so what? There's a polar bear running at me. Like, no, start doing stuff. She would be about business.
Yeah,
I wish she would have switched out with current Wade. Shit.
They should have switched Quinn out with Sid, and they should have switched Wade with this Wade.
Yo,
and bodies would have been dropping on each world.
That's a Fantastic Four I want to see. Them motherfuckers, I
Evil Arturo.
Yeah. And then Rembrandt, the one black guy stranded with these white folks.
Like, well, no, let's say FBI Rembrandt.
Ooh, you cooking now. Now you cooking now. Because yes.
That's a Fantastic Four, yeah.
Oh my God. I may have to steal all of those
that's fine.
archetypes for like a story because that's crazy. They are the best. Oh man, that's my Fantastic Four, you guys. That is definitely
that would be amazing.
Yo, shit. Okay, my number 2 favorite character, no surprise, is actually Gillian of the Spirits. Everything I said before. Also, I cannot stress enough. She is a pretty white woman who was not lusting after Quinn. Yeah. They gave her something else to do. And that, to me, spoke volumes more than anything because his track record of every single episode, somebody has to fall in love with this man and kiss him. And we don't need that. And with that in mind, her relationship with Quinn in the episode being this, when you think of like reluctant hero, a lot of times it kind of pisses me off when I watch those. Maybe it's just not my cup of tea, but her giving pushback was frustrating. But when she eventually came around, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to help, blah, whatever. That was such a satisfying arc in ways that even now when I watch, people are like, oh, I'm not going to get into this battle. But it's like, oh, but you hold the key and your mom's an angel. It's like, sometimes it frustrates me, but I loved her arc. So that's my number 2. Jillian, you rose above. Girl power.
Awesome. So my number 1 is Jillian. My number 1 is Jillian. She was it. She was it. I think that it's rare in the show for a side character or let's say a guest star to have her own arc. So compare the arc in this for Jillian to, I mean, she's kind of the main character. So let's say that, but she's not the main cast, right?
Right.
Compare this, and it may not be fair to compare this, but it's the first example that comes to mind. That lawyer from the Young and the Relentless, who was the defending attorney for
the boy, no,
the guy, the lady. She was the professor was talking shit about her.
Yeah, little girl.
Yeah. So the reason I use her as an example, even though she wasn't as major as Jillian, was that they shoehorned this thing of her, like, Rembrandt saying, hey, didn't you want to do something better than what you're doing? And then she was like, well, I did, and did, all this shit. And it was weird, right? So that's like the worst example of like another character having a poor character arc versus Jillian, where you had a beginning, middle, and end, and it just worked, right? So I think from the writing perspective, but then also from her performance, it just felt it worked really well. So for me, she's You always say this from Batman. You're my number one.
Oh,
What he used to say to God, what was his name? Bob, his sidekick. But Joker used to always say like, "You're my number one, Bob." So yeah, she's my number one, my favorite character.
you said something. I was trying to put. Oh, the good, the bad, and the wealthy. Even if you want to talk about another character who she
Yeah,
still was better than, and that woman had more of a
yeah, more
they
of a
gave
role.
her more to do, and
Mhm.
Jillian was still better than her
Yeah,
with her badass son with no daycare, so, or night care rather. Um, yeah, so hey Jillian, you good in
yeah,
my book. Um, my number one is actually Detective Rembrandt.
yay, awesome.
He's my number one for everything, every critique we've had about Rembrandt in the past. But
Yeah,
specifically, I remember watching that episode and thinking, and walk with me, y'all. This is a very queer statement. That is a sexy man, and not sexy like, oh, let's have sex. Look at him. No, sexy in the sense that when you think of a '90s leading man, you think of
yeah,
like Bruce Willis and Die Hard. You think of like um, Wesley Snipes and anything. That was the first time that I saw him on screen, and I was like, this is this is the leading man.
he's a leading
This
man.
is the
Yeah,
and it wasn't even if he was like on In the Heat of the Night or fucking I don't know Night Court. Well, that's a comedy, but if it was
yeah.
on like I don't
L.A.
know,
Law or something
there you
like that.
go, New York
Yeah,
Undercover, anything. He felt like he had a wife and two kids at home,
yeah,
or he was like single and dating and solving crimes. Like there was something about him that felt like this is a serious actor who I want to see more of. Um, and with it being Rembrandt, not they give. We have critiques about Rembrandt,
yeah.
but watching the actual actor embody this particular character, and I think he maybe had like four like quick like there was like a longer I don't think he was the majority of that episode. I could be
No.
wrong, but the times that he was on screen, especially during that like Arturo Wade bringing evidence thing, whatever, it was just like
Mhm.
this is I want more of this.
Yeah,
This made me want more. This made me wish even more that he had been in more things in the 90s that I could then go back and watch now.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that he's Detective Rembrandt is my favorite,
Awesome.
hands down, both seasons. So
Our number two and number ones were interchangeable
yes,
for that one.
yes,
So
absolutely.
let's see how we go with this next one. So the next category are our three least favorite characters from season two.
Hmm.
So I'll let you start off with your number three.
This is so hard because my list is 4, 5, 6, 7 people. I'm okay. My oh shit. Oh okay. Okay, I can do this. My number three. My number three.
That's the commercial for this.
Right? Because I'm like, can I combine some of these? Which I don't give a damn. All these
Whatever you
motherfuckers.
want to do, man.
I'm going to put the therapist from post traumatic slide syndrome.
Mm,
Um, I'm putting him because I think when we watch this show, there are excuses to be made because it was in the 90s. At the same time, we could point to a lot of other shows in the 90s that hit a lot of the same subject matter and did it better. But I'm not going to harp on that. What I do think a lot of times the show is missing is that black lens. And I'm going to specifically say black, but also add in POC because we do get other
mhm.
ethnicities in the show.
Yeah,
I think what's missing, which feels so criminal when you do specifically a sci-fi show, even more so than like romance or action or any of that, because sci-fi deals with the impossible being possible
right.
in every stretch of the imagination, be it a serious horror, comedy, whatever. Even what Homeboys in Outer Space, that
Yeah,
even that is a version of sci-fi that the impossible is possible. I do not like the treatment of Rembrandt in this show. And if we're taking just the actions of the characters, not accounting for whatever happened behind the scenes, and the actual actors themselves, just the characters in the show, people have been shitting on Rembrandt forever and a day. and to hop from world to world, and even still in another world, you have this white man who is a medical professional. Well, I want to be very clear. I understand that he's a therapist, so when people seem a little bit, he has his due diligence, but this is what's put on screen. And when we have black people, people of color in general, but black people specifically, who deal with so many issues of medical neglect and abuse, not even from just the nurse who's by your bedside, but by the systems in place, to see Rembrandt taking charge of his mental health, putting his trust in this man, which also, how are you paying for this? Like, what were your insurance? You're not from this world, but putting his trust in this man, and the man it's one thing to be like, oh, this man crazy, let me keep him talking. But it felt like some opportunistic thing where it was like, look how crazy he is, let me commit him, and then now I'm the founder of this particular type of crazy. It just felt very nefarious from somebody who is a medical professional. And again, I know it's the 90s, it was written a certain way, there aren't black folks in the room, so I'm just gonna write the show how it is. It's still an enjoyable episode, but I feel like him in particular, there was a very sinister type of evil there that was implied, probably through my very nature of being a black man who's been to the hospital. But it reminded me of Tom Swift. I think the last episode, the last episode of that one season that we had, where his mother ended up being, spoiler for Tom Swift, being the person who put him and his team through trials and tribulations of figuring out how to get shit together, whatever. But ultimately, she came down to, they showed how her as a pregnant woman and many other black women who have throughout the years been seen by medical professionals have been prodded and abused and used up and experimented on. And it sit me there. And even though he's not the antagonist of the episode or the season, that to me, for a black man already lost in time and not in community with anyone, that felt so sinister. And so he's my number 3, man. I'll stop there. Shit. Bruh.
I mean, he's a good bad choice, right?
Yeah.
Bad choice. So for me, I couldn't find a name for this guy, but it was the judge from The Young and the Relentless.
Adam X.
Yeah, like it just said judge. I was like, wow, okay, maybe I should have just called him by his real name. But I understand the camp factor of the show. It's, I've accepted it, but the acting in particular in this episode, when it came to all of the younger actors, that's why they were pissed off with the older actors, because they were going method. Like the older actors were doing better than them. He was the whole dude and this and that. And it's just, I think we had spoken about this. There's no reason he has to be like that as a judge. Like, you don't go to law school, come out of it as a lawyer, then you become a judge and still sound like you're a bro from the surf. It just, he just irritated the fuck out of me. And I think it might've been like the acting. It just kept falling in and out. And you're going to see a common thread with this list in particular when it comes to that episode. But I just, he kept taking me out of it. The scenes that he was there, it just seemed a little bit too much, but he's my number 3. He's my number 3.
He sucked. I think that's fair, especially when the lawyer, she just talked like a regular person.
Exactly. Like, it was too much. And it just seemed like it was weird, because I think I told you, one of the things we talked about was, I always felt that if the main kind of thrust of that episode had been on the ageism aspect, I probably would have been more kind of into it. I know that was like one of our 5 to 7s as far as like how we scored it, but it seemed like they kept playing it up for a joke, right? And it just seemed like, well, this is what happens when the young kids get power, and it was the same thing. This is what happens when the ladies get power. This is what happens when the Hispanics get power.
That's season 2.
Exactly. That's it. Well, the weaker sex was in
That
season
was season
1. So
one. No,
yeah,
you're
so
right.
then, but then the young people, the Hispanics, and it's just like, okay, y'all need to stop. Who was that one person who kept going to, just inserting every minority?
Ah,
It's like, or just persons who
bro.
were like, 20 to 30-year-old white guys. But anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, I couldn't stand him. So that's my number. That's my number 3. Who's
That's
your?
fair.
Oh, so who's your number 2?
Oh, let's see. Let's check the list. So many. Um, I'll probably go with. Uh, this. I don't see. I'm torn because I don't want to go with her. Um, I'll probably go with the Sliders as a collective.
Okay.
That was going to be my number one. I was like, no, I don't. I don't. So they piss me off. They piss me off. Every time they do good, they piss me right off. Them as a collective is so fucking weird to me because they never seem to learn from their past experiences. And this is me taking the characters at face value, not the actors, of course. I
Mhm.
feel like though this is a 90s show and though it's like, show of the week and they didn't have
Mhm.
streaming back then, there's still so many other shows that have done a better job
Yeah.
at having maybe really small arcs or inside jokes that kind of pop up and whatever else.
Mhm.
But this was just terrible to me. Like so we've established in post-traumatic slide syndrome that they have been traveling for 18 months
Yeah.
and they're still not smart. Like this whole idea, what really gets me is Quinn and his gait and how excited they are every time. And it's like, you don't think after 18 months your mother is mourning, but she would like not fix the house up.
Yeah.
And it's just little shit like that. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Then like Arturo mentioning his son, but never bringing him back up again.
Mhm.
Wait, oh, my sister, she was screaming for 10 minutes. Who? You're what? These mute people standing on the front step. Also, what happened to this version of y'all that just went off sliding? Like, we run into them again. So it's just so many different things that collectively, even if I praise one of them to high heavens one episode, still as a whole, they piss me off so bad. It's like they don't have street farts.
Yeah.
What? They don't have street smarts. They can't retain any information from world to
Yeah.
world. Wade constantly loses that journal and then picks it right back up again. Like there's so much. I'm like, y'all probably could have been home by now. Even
Yeah.
outside of the episode where we saw you go home, y'all
Mhm.
probably could have been back home if you were smarter. So yeah, I gotta go with the Sliders collectively.
I love it.
They're my least favorite.
I got you. I love it.
Mm.
So for me, I said that we're gonna have a couple from the Young and Relentless, and here we go. Kyle Beck, that small ass dude who was talking ish to
Ugly.
Wade and Quinn, holding the timer hostage. And he just there was no okay, so Sid is threatening. Sid will jump to another world just to whoop your ass for a slight, right?
Yeah.
For a slight. Kyle will talk to the guy who's going to whoop your ass and then say whoop his ass and then get in your face. There was something, once again, the acting for me wasn't good. I felt he was a inconsequential character that didn't need to be there. And the when we get hyped for the Sliders whooping everybody's ass every other episode, this should have been the episode where they were either doing A1, 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 or
Hey.
doing X-Men Blue Team, Gold Team. Let's get them. Like he should have been the guy, because the only time we see him kind of brought down a peg or two or whatever is when Quinn says, "I got the videotape and the proof," and then he just stands there. That's the last time we see him, and it's just like I wanted him to get punched so bad.
Very bad.
And he just didn't seem like an important character. So that Kyle Beck is the worst, is my least favorite character
Fuck him, bro.
of season 2. So I think I got an idea about your number one, but who's your
Hey,
number one?
Quinn. I hate Quinn. And let me tell you, I hate him. He is such a terrible person. Specifically, this is like the crux of my issue. This motherfucker keep losing that timer.
Yeah.
This is the thing that is supposed to be us getting us home.
Yeah.
This is our transportation. And how are we? I feel like, yes, I said collectively they piss me off, but everybody else seems to be more cognizant of what's at stake here than the motherfucker that got us in this.
Right.
He's just having fun sleeping with and kissing all these women on every world. Probably got some dormant fucking condition from like
from another world.
Yeah, some random thing that's not even an STD, but because he's not from that world, and all of a sudden he's gonna die from the inside out. He's so fucking annoying. You spent the whole first season killing every damn body, whole second season kissing and losing the timer, and you being attractive is enough to be, oh, he's okay. This truly pisses me off. If Quinn was played by Gilbert Gottfried and did all the shit he does now, everybody else would hate him like I do. Like, and this is no shade to Gilbert, you know, he's a nice guy, but I wanted to, like, visually, aesthetically, I don't want to call anyone unattractive, but like, truly look at Quinn and the bullshit that he does every fucking episode.
Yeah.
And to your point, the fact that little ass fucking Mouseketeer was able to get the timer to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? It's like he's this weird version, this amalgamation of like Superman doesn't kill, Batman doesn't kill, and like Ghost Rider doesn't, like, just this is weird Full House character that's on a show full of like Deep Space Nine characters. Like, what are you doing here? And why do you lead us? I truly find fault with Quinn, and I know it has to do with like the show and their depiction of him. It doesn't have anything to do with the actor, but like, to me, he's the worst character, and he's the worst even when he's on his own. There's always some woman that is. This clearly is not a jealousy thing. It's just a weird thing with the writing where you have all these women that's always after him in every episode, but then you also have Wade on standby as the will they, won't they, love interest. It's like you're doing her a disservice by trying to push him up to be this leading man that everybody wants. I don't like Arturo, but sometimes I'm like, Arturo, get him, cuss his ass the fuck out. Like, I don't know. He's just losing the timer like that all the time. And then what episode was that? Was it post-traumatic slide syndrome? He was like, yeah, you know, the Dolphins played this and such in the Super Bowl. It's like, you're smart. There's a way to explain this to these people that makes sense. Like, don't
holding the picture.
Just like, oh, they don't, like, that's not, you know, that sports ain't their thing. If this is different, find something else that would be different collectively. It's just I just think he's so dumb. I'm so tired of him. Quinn is the worst, man. He's the fucking worst. Yuck. Like, even more than the Chromax, because they were on my list too. I hate him. And Mary was on my list. I was like, no, he's worse than Mary. Oh, Mary. Oh, you got to survive. Take her with you. He's so weird. Like, you don't think if she gonna die, she gonna die. But you might go to another world where they can save her. Like, why would you leave her here? I hate him.
She don't want to be saved.
But he take everybody else. He took a van. He took a van through the portal. But you mean to tell me you can't pick up this Asian woman?
He said, nah.
Man.
He said, nah.
He's so fucking dumb. So yeah, let me stop. I hate him, bro. I hate him.
He's my number one.
Good.
Yeah, he's my number one. These 2 seasons have shown me that they have leaned on or whatever, leaned on the what do you call it? The trope. And I don't even know if this is a title for it, but the perfect white guy. I think from the first episode when they showed how well-rounded he was. And there is nothing wrong with being well-rounded. It isn't. You can be smart. You can, I got friends who are well-rounded. You know, they well-rounded. They love a variety of things. They love the sports. They love video games. They love anime. They love all of that. But because Hollywood pushes this idea with everything that they do, it's gotten better for people who aren't like straight white guys to be like the leads, but not completely, whatever. We usually have to make our own inroads, like Sinners is an example of that, right? Or Ironheart, I'm just thinking of more recent examples. So Ianu, this is an animated show. So we are there, but we still need to move forward. But with him, there are things that pop up every season where I don't like the fact that he is always central to the story. And I know there's only 4 of them, but let's spread it out, so that's one thing. The other thing is like, he reminds me more of like Kirk when it comes to, I always come back to Star Trek. So for me, it's like Kirk was, excuse my language, he was whatever. He was every, body he could find, right? And then you got somebody like Cisco, where Cisco would get it in, right? But it wouldn't be like every other episode. So it's just, I don't know if it's like a change in like the writing, but obviously it wasn't, obviously the 60s versus the 90s, because there was this idea of making Quinn this like love, this heartthrob and love magnet, and it just never worked. It just didn't. So I think that the worst example of that was the last episode, where he kept inserting himself into this woman's life onto each of these worlds when there was no need for that, right? Now, he did get the worst advice in the world from Rembrandt on the second world. He said, look her up. And then that was that. But I think that because they try to write him so perfectly, it backfires. And I think that if that wasn't the goal or the case, then I think his character would work better. So I think that his perfectness is what works against him. And I know that's a strange thing to say, but we watched 2 seasons of this and it just doesn't work. I am more inclined to lean towards enjoying the professor because he has those like faults. He has those foibles, but there are times where he learns from them, but we don't have every episode of like the professor being this perfect, thing. So I don't know. It's just, it's not a weird thing to say, because we like complexity and that, and they don't have to be like, like, oh, I'm a tragic hero, but we got to do something more than just trying to make him perfect with everything. And the sense of righteousness with every world that they go to, it becomes like the thorough line for that episode where like, we have to right this wrong. And no, we try to get home, and whatever happens within the midst of that episode shouldn't be us trying to, save the day every episode. So, or at least most of it. So, but yeah, his perfectness, I think, works against him. And it kind of hit its capping point for me, I think, for the both of us. This season. So
fuck out of here.
So the next scene, we're going to go back to our favorite scene. So for this, we had, we could choose 1 or 2. I chose 2, so I'll just start with the second one. For me, it was a scene from the post-traumatic slide syndrome, where it was the joy of them getting home. Yeah, it was just the joy of them getting home. There was something where, I don't want to say like it felt earned, or whatever. I mean, at least a little bit or whatever, but it felt good. And seeing kind of the relief. I mean, there was a scene where they realized, and then afterwards, Wade's on the phone talking to her parents and talking about her sister we had never heard about. So that was weird. And then, Rembrandt is in, he's happy. Everybody's just happy, right? And I think part of it is because we've had like episodes where they just bicker and just kind of coming in at each other's necks. But I think that kind of ties into my, that being one of my, I think it was like one of my, favorite episodes. But I just like that scene, those couple of scenes where we got to experience them being happy for once. But yeah, that's like my second of the 2 favorite scenes.
So I got 2 as well, and that is honestly mine as well. For me, 2 things. One, because we know they already made it home and didn't know it, and then they left.
Yeah.
Which I think that should have been a season finale in the future.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna leave that alone. But I think because we got that, and then we got them home. To your point, the excitement of we made it, we got it back. Let me call such and such. But I think more specifically, they felt like a family, like in that kitchen where Quinn was. What did he say? He was like, "Oh, and this guy developed penicillin." He said something. He was like, "Oh no, what about the A-bomb?" It was like,
they were bragging. Yeah.
This just Avengers, X-Men, Saved by the Bell. It just felt like this very, like if that had have been this, like, because what is it now where we sometimes like Netflix might release 6 episodes or something, and then a couple months later the last 6. I feel like that would have been a great mid-season finale, like during a summer break or something. So, but I really enjoyed that, and I love Rembrandt on the therapist couch, so I'm throw that in there. But like that whole, but like specifically when they were in the kitchen before they went downstairs, and Arturo was like, "Oh, we can't talk about this," because it just felt like everybody had a chance to breathe, them and the audience. It's like shit, finally. And even with the mom being, because she said something that made me, and I can't remember if I felt like this the first time or if it was because I rewatched it. When they mentioned the A-bomb, and she was like, "Oh, an atom bomb," and it's like the way I said, I don't know if this is a choice of her just delivering the line like that, or if that was your first hint that like, oh no, this isn't home, because the way she's. But even if that is like, oh, they're not home, it's so subtle, like that kitchen scene. I thought it was
perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we got number 2. So the my number 1 was from The Young and Relentless.
Okay.
And it was Professor and Remy throwing hands at the bar.
Yes.
So they you said it perfectly. If anything is going, like, if anything, the Sliders are always going to throw hands. They are going to throw hands. I don't know where that came from,
bro,
but it just like it just they whooped ass, and this is like the second time that they've done this, and this time it was like people being ageist, right? Like this is them trying to do the whole don't sit at the lunch counter vibe, except like because you old as fuck. And then he came around with that stick or that bat, and the professor was like, "Not today," and they just whooped their asses in that episode. But
the second was it? I feel like didn't they fight in the courtroom twice and then this? Well, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no. So the first fight I remember was from the first season when they were when Quinn was on trial, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the thing. So in that season, the portal opened up in front of the stenographer. We thought we had killed her.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Fuck a trial," and then then Remy and the professor was just beating the bailiff's asses, and then they jumped in. And I can't remember what the world was that they jumped to, but I remember that one. And this is a second fight.
It was when Arturo, his fake self, or his real self, was like off. We had the wife and all that. Remember?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was more, but it maybe I could be wrong, but that.
Well, I'm adding in Wade kicking somebody in the balls.
Yes.
Yeah, like Wade doing that. Them throwing hands in this one, and then Quinn beating up the guy. I thought he fell out of his shoes in the last episode. So they forever whooping ass, and I don't think it's gonna stop. So they, and then also with it being the 2 older people in the group, I love them getting their own action scene. So they be shooting and punching from world to world. That was my number 1.
Man, that was Hank McCoy and Bishop just whooping ass. Oh man. Shit, you right. They be whooped. Oh my god, them. Oh god, they Shit. What's my okay, so I completely forgot about that scene. But my favorite scene is Detective Rembrandt
Okay.
sitting at that desk
Yeah.
telling Wade, you need to calm the fuck down, little girl. Like that shit. He was just like, oh, you on some fuck shit. Like that to me, that was so fucking good. Already I love the character, but for him to
Yeah.
be like, chill the fuck out. Like he said the shit that I be wanting to say to them. And I love it because this I don't know how many this ain't the first time where Wade was like, oh, we gotta go and save this. We can't let this and it's like motherfucker, everything ain't catered to you. And that scene was so short, but even Arturo was like, okay, let's chill because just because we can slide out of here don't mean they can't whoop our ass or lock us up before. Like that was just to me the perfect scene. One, Queen was not there, so that's a plus.
Yeah.
Rembrandt was able to put the law down and
Mm-hmm.
put Wade in her place because I do like the character. I just think she does a whole lot sometimes, and we're always getting sucked into some bullshit behind her. Even when she kissed that dude who was turning yellow,
Yeah.
highlighter yellow. Like you keep putting us in this bullshit. I'm glad somebody put you in your damn place. So that
Lighter yellow.
he was like, why would you kiss somebody because they saved you from getting hit by a car?
He looked like a Doug character.
Yes,
He looked
like,
like a Doug character
there
or a
was no
Simpsons
reason.
character.
She had not kissed anybody before except for Evil Queen, and that was
Yeah.
off screen. They didn't
Yeah.
even kiss on. Well, whatever. I don't know. Maybe she kissed Real Queen. But what I'm saying is, she wasn't just kissing people before. Why are you just kissing this stranger on a world we've never been? Like, use your brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, Rembrandt being able to say, "Girl, shut the fuck up." that was my favorite. Yes, shit.
Nice. Nice. So the next category we had was alternate storylines for one or two of the episodes. So I'll let you can go first with this one.
Okay, so this one was kind of hard. With the alternate storyline, I don't. I'm gonna count this as one,
Yeah.
but well, actually, that'll be my one.
Mhm.
For me, I'm going to go with Wade in her journal.
Okay.
For me,
Yeah.
because of the way the show puts Queen at the forefront all the time,
Yeah.
I would alter the entire show so that every 2 episodes or so
Mhm.
we get a Wade focused voiceover, even if she's not the focus of the episode, because
Yeah.
I think to me that suggests to the viewer that she is writing in this journal, and that even if she's narrating events that happen with just Quinn away from everybody, or Arturo, or Rembrandt, that it suggests that they are um, kind of getting together and discussing their adventures, and she's still writing them down. Like
Mhm.
I'm okay with her being like, oh, and Rembrandt found love with Sheila, such and such, and he
Yeah.
came back and gave me this blue bracelet or something,
Mhm.
something. Because the main thing I would keep is that, because one, I think that puts her at the forefront, even if she's not always the focus of an episode. So
Mhm.
we can still have Quinn be Mr. Perfect Dude, but we're always going to have her in our ear. And I think by nature of doing that, if she is the omniscient voice that narrates everything, it forces you to let Arturo and Rembrandt do other things, even if they're together
Yeah.
doing things. Like when they went fishing
Mhm.
that one time and was making fun of each other, and then when they were fighting, in that
Yeah.
episode, I think that and having that journal gives you a sense of like there's going to be an end, because a
Mhm.
lot of times you'll get, like, I don't know, did you watch Riverdale or no, any of it?
I watched the first two
That's
seasons.
all you needed. That is all you need to watch. Do not watch past that. I do not. But you get Jughead narrating everything because he's writing in his
Yeah.
journal. And there was always this sense of everything's going to be okay in the end because we're getting the voiceover.
Yeah.
And that to me felt like there it puts me in the mind of, at the end of this, when all is said and done, she has this full journal
Yeah.
that can become so many other things. Um and it forces you to keep up with money and the journal and little things that then when you do hop from world to world, maybe they don't have penicillin, and then here you go, you have it from another world. So I think That's the main thing I would change, is just
Yeah.
the way the show is formatted, because the journal is a big deal when they
Mhm.
need it to be, but make it more consistent with a Wade voiceover. That's my number
Yeah.
two.
I love it. I love
Mhm.
it. Um, because them doing it like once or twice is just it's just weird as fuck.
Crazy.
It's rather like don't do it. Like if you're not going to commit to it.
Hmm.
So I think for me, I guess the first one was from Indino Veritas.
Hmm.
I wrote get a chance to experience what life is like for the poacher,
Mm.
his dead partner, and the ranger. So even I know this would be like not sliders related. It would just be more focused on that world. But see, we've talked about like what if
Hmm.
we did have an episode, um, a spinoff series that
Hmm.
focused on the worlds that they had visited. So it would have been nice to have seen that story about the ranger trying to catch them, and these people doing these bad things. But it seemed like the poacher and his friend had a close relationship. Like they,
Yep.
just because you're an asshole don't mean that you can't have friends, right?
Hmm.
So just because you're a criminal doesn't mean that you can't have friends. So it would have been nice to kind of have seen that. So having like that side story, if we ever got the spin-off show about the worlds they had visited, I would have liked to have seen that, as far as I guess that'd be in the alternate storyline.
Hmm.
But then that was mainly because of the performance of the actors.
I
So
agree.
the guy who played the poacher and
Hmm.
the lady who played the ranger. And once
Hmm.
again, that was a case of they didn't give them people names, so that's how they referred to on the IMDb.
Hmm.
So that's my first one. Did you have another one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So this is where my fucking writer brain took over. This is why I say Jillian of the Spirits is a prequel. That is the true part one of Invasion.
Mm-hmm.
I would, of course, flip the story around so that
Yeah.
Invasion was the season finale. In Jillian of the Spirits, I know this wasn't intentional, but that red vortex, that red
Mm-hmm.
portal, should have, in my head canon, ties directly to um the portal that the Cro-Mags use.
Yeah.
And because they do love for Quinn to be the fucking leading man all the damn time, Jillian of the Spirits is where I would have started introducing that girl
Yeah.
who he fell for,
Mm-hmm.
because so walk with me. We get the same episode as it is in Jillian of the Spirits, but you add in about maybe 30 extra minutes spread out, however, where Quinn is reflecting on his life. I kissed Wade. She's there for me all the time. I see
Mm-hmm.
her as a friend. Do I really like her romantically, or are we trauma bonded together?
Yeah.
And you're working with Jillian. You're not attracted to her. You're not trying
Mm-hmm.
to sleep with her. You're just trying to get her help. And throughout her, you're like, okay, I know I'm not attracted to her. I recognize she's attractive. Maybe I do or don't have feelings for Wade. And that other girl, I forget her name,
I think
pops up
Mary.
when you're now reflecting. I may be stuck this way forever. You're reflecting on all the women who you've loved before, and it all
Yeah.
goes back to that one girl.
Okay.
And then I would seed her in every 2 or 3 episodes where you're like, oh, I'm in this world. I wonder where she is. Or she shows up as a
Mm-hmm.
judge, or she shows up as an ice cream salesman or something, and you keep getting close but can't get to her.
Yeah.
And so while, now follow me, we got
Mm-hmm.
that red portal
Mm-hmm.
that gets the whole Cro-Mag thing going. So once we get to the true penultimate, which should have been the episode where he found the love of his life, we've already shown one Cro-Mag before that,
Yeah.
where he's then like, okay, this is not just a race to get home. This is a race for survival.
Mm-hmm.
The next world I go to, I need to actually approach this girl,
Yep.
build up that emotional, where even if you may not never get home to find her, but if you can go
Mm-hmm.
to her here and tell her how you feel and explain everything, even if she thinks you're crazy, that gives me a penultimate, so that when you don't get a chance to have that final whatever, you go into Invasion, and not only is it these motherfuckers is after us, they
Yeah.
own our ass, finna kill us. Also, that love of your life that you wanted so bad,
Mm-hmm.
you the one chance you had to maybe have a regular life with her is ripped away because the Invasion Cro-Mag motherfuckers is on your head. So
Yep.
in my mind, Jillian of the Spirits is the prequel. That's where that shit start, and then we just
Yeah.
ah, I ugh.
That's perfect. Like I said, that I would watch that. I would watch that. I think her name was Dalen.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, Dalen. So I think what works about well, the story really works, but the other thing is, like we sometimes say, because this was the 90s, they kept doing episodic versus serialized.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't true. So you once again, you watch something like I keep bringing this up, Deep Space Nine.
Mm-hmm.
It was episodic in nature, but they it became serialized, but it also had serial like vibes to it.
Yeah.
Case in point, I'm doing a rewatch like the 100th damn time because I love the show. I'm watching an episode where there's a character, he's a Ferengi named alien named Quark, and Quark goes to this area of space that's been opened up next to like there's a wormhole next the Alpha Quadrant where the Federation is to the Gamma Quadrant, and he hears mention of an organization called the Dominion.
Okay.
The Dominion, that's the first mention of that group that we have in the show. And by the third or fourth season, the Dominion becomes the main antagonist of the entire series.
There we go.
So that's an example that you have of seeding that. And it wasn't, I think there might have been episodes after that, but where you didn't necessarily focus on this group, but you were building up. So it was something like you just said, they could have done that because other shows were doing it at that time. And that would have been a perfect connecting point, especially because it would have dealt with a lot of the problems that we had. It was like, who the fuck is Dalen?
Yes.
The idea of the color of the portal of the the wormhole, that's perfect. Like I said, I would love to see it.
Hey, and to piggyback off that, this show really pissing me off because even if you never mentioned Deep Space nothing, X-Men comics have been around since the 1960s. Yeah. I'm talking specifically X-Men. I ain't talking about Superman. I ain't talking about Fantastic Four, specifically X-Men. There is a C plot, and I forget which issue it is, where Bishop and what's homegirl? Is it Lilandra? No, Deathbird are stranded in space together, and that happens in the back of like 3 books before it becomes the A plot in one of those comics. Comics do it all the time. You get 2 panels of like, oh, Charles Xavier has red hair for some reason, and then 5 issues later, it's I don't know, Onslaught or something. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's not. And I say comics specifically because they're essentially storyboards for TV and movie adaptation. So I'm gonna stop giving them that 90s pass because I was reading all types of Image, Marvel. I was reading indie stuff. Well, Image was indie back then, right? Whatever. I was reading some shit. Fathom, Fathom, Teo, the Spirit of the Teo, all that. So fuck this show for that. Shit. Where we at? What are we doing?
We got I got my number 1 for the alternate timing storyline.
I got so distracted. Okay,
So for me, I think the alternate storyline would have been, we see what life is like for the professor, our professor, after being left behind on the post-traumatic syndrome world. Yeah. And him basically having to take over the life of a dude that he doesn't know, what his life would have been like. And considering the fact that this guy turned out to be evil or just a mean-spirited asshole, that's probably how the world sees him. Unless he was just doing this stuff on the sly or a secret or whatever. So it would have been interesting to see him navigating that and also learning what other differences this world has rather than being just like a, carbon copy of the world that he came from. And that would have been, and maybe he is trying to create a way of sliding himself so he can get home. Yeah. So you have that, the B plot of him trying to find a way home, because he wants to get home. So, but that's idea that I had, considering that's the professor. The professor gets home, and we agreed that the good one, got left behind. The one who said he would love to march on Selma. He felt as if he was marching on Selma. Let that go. So the next one, I think it's just the overall rating for the season, for season 2, or general thoughts. Which I'll let you. You can go first. I'll let you go.
Okay. Rating. This one is a tough one. I do think our ratings were collectively a little higher, maybe than last. I don't know. I can't remember last season, but for this one, we're doing 10, 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there were a lot of missteps to me. I. I'm trying to think, would Jillian of the Spears be enough to pull up this rating higher when you have something like Invasion as the penultimate, and then as time goes by, like there's so many missteps. Ah, Jillian can't carry this season for me.
No, no.
Um, I'm probably going to get this something lower. I'll I'll give it a 6. Even that feels generous. I'll go with 6, and I'll let that be my final score. I think one of the biggest parts of that is that ending order,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not blaming it on Peacock because you said that's just what it is. That's just the order that it's in. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like Peacock gave us these out of order. For Invasion to be so as big as it is, that just to me does not make sense from a storytelling standpoint when you've had decades of TV at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Um, Overall, I did enjoy the season, but I think a lot of it was forgettable because even when I was thinking about it, like when I first was coming up with my list, I said, let me just come up with a list based off of my memory before I go and rewatch anything.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the things I was remembering was from season one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's not good. That's not because I was like adamant about what is the episode with the when we first get Clivant's brother.
King is back.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I was like, but no, that doesn't make any sense. That wouldn't have been this season. And
Yeah.
even the lottery, it's not the lottery episode, but I think the love interest, the black girl who was like, yeah, I'm gonna kill myself for my family. Like even her, I was like, oh, did that happen this season? So I think
Yeah.
this season was more forgettable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then once I actually started going through the notes and watching everything, like the good and bad and the wealthy, even that was just like
Yeah.
that little boy with the gun was like the biggest, the best part of that. Like nothing about even that ending where they were like
Yeah.
in the crowd and it was like, oh, you got to do better or some shit. I'm just like, this is stupid. All of this is stupid. So I may have my three main favorites, but I think overall this season was really forgettable in comparison to the first.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say, oh, the first was, it was my first time watching. So no, all of that luster of like, oh, it's just so fun. All that shit is gone. And now I'm deep in the show. I enjoyed this season, but I don't think it was better than the first. And the few things that I love can't. A lot of it comes down to Invasion, and as time goes by, they really dropped the ball with that.
Yeah.
That would have ending would have skyrocketed this season. So yeah, six.
Six. So I think so for me, I it's gonna be I'm at I'm gonna say I'm gonna pull a rain. I'm at 6.5/7. It is 6.5/7.
Uh,
Because looking at the ratings that we had, it looks like out of 13 episodes,
mm-hmm,
we rated half of the season a 7 or above.
mm-hmm,
So with most of those, I think being sevens.
mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at this right,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
So
is.
so, but there definitely were episodes which overall bring the season down to that 6.5.
Yeah,
I didn't want to go with like a 5 because I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well, y'all just completely fucked up. And I don't think that's what this is, but I do think, like to your point, that
Mm,
episode one, strangely enough, was solid. It was more solid because it's
Mhm.
always this thing of the sequel, and now
Yeah.
this was a 5-season show. It's not a trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you always want this to be like your Empire Strikes Back. You want to step up.
Yeah.
You've learned what you needed to do. You're off the training wheels, and so you should be able to kind of step up. Now, apparently, in season 3, they gave Quinn, Jerry O'Connell, a haircut, right? So
Oh.
they definitely did step up, right? So they got the budget, they got all this, but there's not enough in this season for it to be, because I think 7 is always going to be like, y'all did good.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all did good, and you're borderline like solid, and
Yeah.
8 and above is like, okay, you killed it. So so I can't fully give it that 7, because I think there was a bit in the season that made it fall short of the excellence that I think it could have been. But yeah, so right now I'm between 6.5 and 7. I should have gotten what our season 1 reviews, like the overall review was. Like I said, I would have, next time I'll go back and check the previous season, but I do think that we probably rated that season higher overall than this one. So that's kind of where I'm at. Just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, man. This was terrible. Not really. I'm sorry. That's not what I meant. I mean, to your point, or to both our point, I truly, and I hate to beat a dead dog, I truly feel like had Invasion have been the last episode, that to me is the show stepping up, because you got 2 seasons of like fun, quirky, campy adventures, and now you're moving into, oh no, this shit is serious.
Yeah.
And so I hate to keep bringing it, but I do feel like if Invasion had have been the final, it would have elevated, because now it's fun and games are over.
Yeah.
Like, this is not time. We like also in that reverse world, didn't they like destroy Earth? Like so yeah. I just hope season 3 is well, they have more episodes, because what is it, 23? 25?
It's I got it here.
Yeah, this substantially more episodes than what we've gotten before. So, but that's also more opportunity to fail. And I hate to say that, because I'm looking forward to them doing the thing. But yeah, there's a lot more episodes.
It's 20. Oh my God, it's 25.
And that's actually the season with the most episodes. I'm looking at them now. Like it's like they went up and was like, fuck that. Y'all don't get to do this again. So
they went ham. They went ham.
I hope it ain't a lot of filler.
I'm looking at these episodes. We're gonna say this on. I think we said this before. Yo, we taking a mid-season break after after shit, maybe 10 episodes.
So, got something, because that's a lot. That's a freaking lot.
It's a lot, and y'all don't want us to get tired of this show.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and I think we can also kind of say it here. We are going to go on a break.
Oh, absolutely.
We're taking a close to a month-long break. So we will be back on. Well, I ain't gonna give no specific date. We will be back in September.
In the fall.
We will be back in September. So one thing I will say is follow us on social media, Instagram. I have my handle up there. CarefreeBlackNerd. We'll have the links up there, and just kind of keep stay tuned into what we're doing. And then we can also give updates about when we'll start back with. But yeah, this is I will say that we will be back in enough time to celebrate the 1-year anniversary.
Oh yeah, there we go.
But it's been but season 2 has been it's been fun talking about it. Some shows were as usual better than others, but just being here for the ride has been cool. It's been exceptionally fun. So
yep, absolutely. Being here for the slide has been.
There you go.
No, yeah, even the bad episodes, bad, has been phenomenal. And I wish I should have wrote this down. But Robert, what's homeboy name? who left the shucks. Ah, I meant to those of you commenting over on YouTube, shout out
Oh,
to y'all.
yeah,
And I want to be very clear. You could write a book in the comments, or you could put
yeah, yeah.
3 words. Please put whatever your heart desires. This is not a space for you to censor yourself. I mean, just don't be rude, of
I mean,
course.
no, no, don't say no
Yeah,
silly shit. It's
yeah.
just like, I'm sorry. And when I say silly shit, I'm just saying like,
Mm,
um, you, yeah, don't say nothing you wouldn't say in front of your mama.
yeah.
Like, and if you say that in front of your mom, then you might need to reassess your life.
Say, man,
It's
say.
like,
But yeah, oh god, I'm so mad. I'm looking, I'm scrolling, I can't find the comment. Jesus Christ! But
oh,
but no, yeah, please, if you're watching us, go and drop something in the comments. It can be random. It could, if you agree with us, you disagree, all that, whatever. This show is for the Slider fans.
yeah.
Robert is a seasoned fan. I'm a new fan, and we're going on this journey together. And so, we say something that you're like, oh, I actually think such and such. That's fine. Let us know. Yeah, and spend this hiatus going through old episodes and then argue with us there. I don't know.
I,
Oh man.
there,
Um,
I found it.
okay, shucks.
Wait a minute, is it playing on my end?
I don't hear it. I heard some
Okay,
static for a couple seconds, then it stopped.
okay, that was weird. I thought I
Mhm.
paused it. So yeah, shout out to the two and we're not sliding anybody if we've missed a comment. It's like, these are the ones that we've seen, and to be honest with you, I think these are the only two people that have responded. But shout out to JW Steed and Creatures of Darkness,
Mm.
3365. We appreciate y'all commenting and leaving your feedback, and we appreciate everybody who has checked out the show
Mm-hmm.
and shared it, and that makes us like we're gonna do the show regardless, right?
Yeah.
But it makes us happy to know that people are enjoying Sliders with us as we watch it, and so yeah, but yeah, we appreciate everybody for watching it. But thank you, shout out to those two.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And for those of you who want to comment, go ahead. I mean, you'll get a shout out too.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, this has been a ride. This was again everything I said at the top of the episode. I times 100.
Thank
I
you, man.
still mean the same thing. So,
Same to you, man.
yeah, just let these people know where they can find you, support you.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that and the Kickstarter. We want to.
Yeah. And actually, I actually just forgot, just remembered something. So let me go ahead and repeat. We will have a link for the Kickstarter for One Nation Arc One. It's an omnibus 300 pages of critically acclaimed indie superhero goodness that's socially conscious, and people are whooping butt in the name of trying to change this world. And I got stories in there. But yeah, definitely please support that. And secondly, I will be at a convention on this Saturday. If you're in Georgia, it's called the Legion Con. It is. I will put the we'll have the link, but it's called the Legion Comic Book Toy and Art Convention, and it will be held August 9th in Smyrna, Georgia. So we will have the link so you can find out where that's going to be. And later this month, because we're going hiatus, September 6th, I will be at the Georgia. I'm going to be at a fair convention in Tifton, Georgia, and I will give have the links for that also included. But it's like the Georgia Fair Tifton convention. But those between August and September, I'll be at 2 separate conventions. I might be at Dragon Con, but then I'll be there just as a fan. But I won't have it. But those 2 other conventions, this Saturday in September, I will be at a table selling books. So head out and see me if you're in Georgia. If you want to fly to the state of Georgia and to partly see me, that'll be cool. But yeah, the Kickstarter, support the 2 conventions, and share the Kickstarter. If you can. But that's me. That's me.
Good. And y'all they can share it. Go ahead and share it. So, okay, cool. Well, all the links will be in the show notes. You guys, please make sure to check those out. If you're in that Georgia area, make sure to go say hi to Robert. Show that support in person. Um, yeah, I don't know. Find me here. I'm gonna have my little hiatus as well. I will be knees deep in my laptop writing my second book, so please be on the lookout for that. I will have a link for Love and Ashley if you're into contemporary urban romance. It is eligibility community book, so I want to make sure that's clear. I don't want nobody getting it like, oh, what is this? Two men kissing? Yeah, they do a lot of that. So there's that. Writing a follow up to that. So hopefully during this hiatus, I can. I'm saying this to hold myself accountable, so y'all can bully me if I don't. But hopefully, by the time we come back, I could be done with that first draft.
There you go.
That is the plan. So y'all go
Awesome.
meet Robert and then cuss me out if I'm not done by September. Oh man. Our social media links will be in the show notes as
Mhm.
well. And man, this has been a good time as usual. Shit, Robert, any last words?
No, like I said, I'm happy. I'm happy to be on this ride and been having fun. And as we said before, thank y'all for checking out the show and just
Mm-hmm.
continue to spread the word about it. So
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Well, this is what is it? The timer says we have a month in this world, so we
yeah,
will check y'all back here in about 4 weeks or so, maybe. We'll see. All right, y'all, motherfuckers. Bye.
love y'all.